Hi, I'm Jerry with Hilgersom Landscape Centre, and welcome to this landscape. We're in the beautiful neighborhood of Victoria Park in Lethbridge, so let's take you through and give you a little bit of a tour. This infill kind of gave us a blank canvas, although we have mature trees to deal with. Other than that, there's really nothing left in this landscape, so it was a nice blank slate for us to design with our clients. Before we get going on this project in Victoria Park, we needed to come up with a landscape design. Whether you're doing the project yourself or having someone else install it, having a landscape plan, it just gives you a blueprint to go off of. In this case, I worked with our customer, the things that they liked, what they wanted to see in their yard, the types of planting material that they may like, all those things. In this case, our customers were fantastic. They really were thorough, coming up with even their own a little diagram of what they thought would be nice to see in their yard. Nowadays with social media, it is so easy to get ideas. Not all of them are going to work in our southern Alberta climate, but oftentimes you can take those ideas, tweak them a little bit to make them work here in Lethbridge as well. Using our experience in landscaping to tweak them to make them work really well. We start sketching some things on our CAD program. For example, this is what we're coming up with for this landscape design. I think it's going to be great with lots of perennial beds, lots of plantings. This will be something that I'll be able to present to the customer. We can discuss it, go back and forth a little bit, make some adjustments as needed. And we're going to have a plan to go off of. Starting in the front here, we got the boulevard that's typical in Victoria Park area. Going to keep things simple, synthetic turf, some gravel, plants, low maintenance plants. We have this beautiful retaining wall that the contractor provided us. This retaining wall will set a boundary. Essentially, this front yard is going to become a backyard or an enclosed yard so that the pets can be using the front as well. So there will be a wrought iron fence here at some point. Low maintenance shrubbery in here, some ornamental rocks. Coming into the front yard area. It's not the largest front yard, but it's perfect size for what we're doing. You'll see a tree over there when we're all done. A nice raised planter here just to give it a little bit of elevation so that not everything is just a flat landscape. We'll have large bushes on the side to kind of frame the house a bit. You're going to see synthetic turf here because of the pets that the homeowners have. This will provide them with a nice green space without having to do any maintenance on maybe a browning lawn or things that are common with having pets. And we're also talking about adding a bit of an alpine garden in here, a little bit of a rockery. That's not in the design right now, but that's how the nature of the business. When you're doing a design, you have to remain flexible because it's dynamic, it's always changing. Let's go check out the backyard. Like most of the lots here in Victoria Park, this one was pretty large. Having the garage in the back with the back alley access kind of left us with a smaller yard, but still plenty of space. I'm a firm believer about planning ahead. And planning ahead involves the infrastructure in your yard. Thinking about irrigation, where you may want that irrigation, what you're going to be watering, things like electrical, all those things are super important. Before they poured the concrete here, we made sure that we had a plan in place to incorporate these simple sleeving. Just makes the job so much easier. We'll slip in our irrigation hoses and be able to connect to the house even though there's concrete right up against the foundation. The same applies for electrical in your yard. Now is the easy time to put down any electrical that you may need, right? Because you're going to be covering up with layers of soil, gravel, whatever it may be. So now is the easy time, not as much trenching involved. We're going to be putting low voltage lighting in this yard. So we need a source of electricity. The contractor luckily has given us a source that we'll be trenching in slightly to put it into the places where we need it in this landscape. We're going to be putting in a large patio space, which you can see kind of, I trace it out here. We have a nice curving sidewalk going into a quarter circle patio space. And the nice feature about this patio space is it's going to be covered with a cedar pergola. Whether or not you're having a landscape design drawn out, or if you're just in your yard trying to figure out scale and size of things in your yard, painting the ground is a great way to do that. Kind of gives you a real sense of the use of space. Over here, keeping it simple, nice raised planter here, similar in fashion to the raised planter in the front yard. Again, just to give it a little bit of elevation and to allow the homeowners to have a bit of a planting space that's easy to access. And then the remaining space is again going to be synthetic turf. It was very important for our clients to have an area where they could play with the dogs. So essentially making a lane all the way from the gate straight back to the patio that they could throw the ball. Even though you have a small yard, doesn't mean that you have to sacrifice playing with your dog, right? So in landscaping, we're often at the mercy of weather. If all goes to plan, hopefully this project will take about 2.5 to 3 weeks to complete. Next step will be the base preparation for our paving stone patio, as well as our raised planters, and then building the hardscapes. Thanks for joining me on this little tour of what's going to be a great landscape. We're pretty excited about it. Please join us on future episodes where we'll take you through step by step as this landscape progresses. I'm Jerry with Hilgersom Landscape Centre.